Hello, welcome to HCC Movie Makers Academy Movie Reviews. I'm Erik Calderon.
And I'm Trey Dixon, and the two of us just saw The Maze Runner. The Maze Runner is the new young adult novel adaptation from director Wes Ball. It stars Dylan O'Brien, Kea Scodelario, Will Poulter, and Patricia Clarkson. The story centers around Thomas, a young, courageous boy who wakes up in an elevator completely stripped of his memory. He finds himself implemented into a community of other boys who have also had their memories erased, and they live in a grassy compound surrounded by a vast and intricate maze. Together, they must join forces in order to figure out who it is that put them there, but more importantly, why.
The Maze Runner was shot in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, as well as Jackson, Louisiana, on a digital camera with a budget of $34 million. The running time is 1 hour and 53 minutes. It was actually filmed from May 1st till July 7th, I think. Or maybe it was the other way around. But so it was a pretty hefty shooting schedule. The film grossed $32.5 million on the opening weekend. And yeah, it was a great film. I loved watching it. I was entertained. I loved the story. The story is a little bit different than the book, but it matched up pretty well. I really enjoyed it. What do you think, Trey?
Did you read the book?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'm actually reading the book to my kids right now.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Well, I am shocked that I'm going to end up saying this because I think that the young adult novel adaptation genre is something of a blight, but I think this movie was good.
Wow, I'm surprised.
I am too. I can't believe I'm saying that. But this movie manages to ignore all of the things that are terrible about the young adult novel genre, being that this movie has no underdeveloped, overly dramatic, time-wasting, schmaltzy love triangle that makes you want to kill yourself. There's no obnoxious pop music that's playing in the soundtrack. The violence was actually kind of gritty. The camera doesn't sheepishly pan away when there's something graphic occurring. They kind of focus on it. I mean, there's no blood.
Yeah.
They got to aim for a PG-13, but they focus on it, and it doesn't feel like they're lying to the audience.
Yep.
Like when the Hunger Games did that, where they were just kind of shifting away. It was like much ado about nothing, I felt. But this movie manages to stay true to itself, and I found it very entertaining, and I'm amazed that I believe that.
Yeah, I'm kind of shocked because before we saw it, you were like, you hate these kind of movies.
I do.
And I was like thinking, well, maybe I should find someone else to review the movie.
Yeah, no, I can't really stand movies of this type, but I'm going to make a statement right now.
Go for it.
It's a pretty bold statement, but I thoroughly believe it. I've put a lot of time into thinking about this, and this movie is better than The Hunger Games, and it is better than Catching Fire. And that's going to upset a lot of fans.
I think it will, because I think there's a lot of fans for
But
Catching Fire.
this movie is better executed. It understands its intentions better than those movies. It really is just interested in telling its story.
Yeah.
It's not perfect. I'm going to say that right now. It's entertaining, but it's not perfect. Was there anything about this movie that bothered you?
Well, I think, I like the movie a lot. I think the movie in the beginning was a little bit slow. So the story kind of, and just talking about the story, right? The story was a little bit slow in the beginning, and there was a time where I was nodding off. I was kind of falling asleep,
Yeah.
And that was just in the beginning. I think when the girl showed up, things started moving forward a lot faster, and things started happening. There was more action. There was more drama.
See, I didn't mind the pace of this movie. I think that this movie was paced in a way where it was interesting enough, even when nothing was happening.
Yeah.
What I didn't like was that there were a lot of poorly executed moments of dramatic exposition where a character will literally sit Thomas down and explain to him like what's happening, why it's been happening. And it's really general, and I don't like it when movies feel they just have to literally spell it out for the audience.
Yeah. Well, that's part of the book, I mean, in the book.
Yeah, but they could have done it in a way where it was sort of revealed to them.
Yeah.
Where I don't care if it was written in the book.
Yeah.
If a character sits down somebody and explains it to the main character, it's the exact same thing as explaining it to the audience.
Yeah.
So they could have done it in a way that it was a little more subtle.
And I think that's the hard part too, because I'm tainted, right? I'm biased because I read the book and I understand what's going on.
Yeah.
And the whole point is that Thomas lost his memory.
Yeah.
And he knows nothing about what's going on. He doesn't know anything about where he's at. So they sit him down and explain it to him. And I think, maybe you're right. I mean, I think the viewer might think that they're explaining it to them.
Yeah.
but because I'm a little biased and I've read the story, I know that they're actually explaining it to him.
Yeah, but you know, when a character sits down and talks to another character, it's like force-feeding information to the audience. Yeah. I just think that it could have been more subtle.
What do you think about the acting?
The acting was, here's the thing, the acting was okay.
I like the performances.
The main kid, Dylan O'Brien, he was fine. I feel like whenever he was anguished or fighting somebody or arguing or running away from something, he had a constipated look on his face, and it was a little distracting, but he was okay.
Yeah.
The show stealer was Will Poulter. He is the
Chuck, right?
Yeah, what was his name?
Chuck.
Yeah, I think.
Little fat kid.
No, the big muscly guy that didn't agree with him.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Will Poulter was
Albie? Was it Albie?
Yeah, Albie, that's right.
I think it was Albie.
I think it was. Albie.
I can't remember
why
the
I
name.
just said yeah, that's him.
I think the showstopper was Chuck.
I think that Will Poulter managed to really sound like somebody who was in that situation. A lot of the performances were fine, but to an extent, all the other actors really felt like they were reading lines. Yeah. He actually felt like he had a really clear character developed. And Will Poulter, it turns out, he's a pretty diverse actor. Did you ever see We Were the Millers or We're the Millers?
No, I didn't.
Because he was the Virgin in that movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and he was also in Chronicles of Narnia. And
that was a good movie. Yeah.
You know, he's a pretty diverse actor, and I think that he did a really good job in this movie.
Yeah.
A thing that I didn't like, and it's probably the biggest thing that I didn't like, is that throughout the movie, you know, it's peppered with little clues as to what's happening in the big scheme of things, and you're like, oh wow, so that's another thing, and these things are all adding up, and like, how are all these clues gonna tie together at the end? How's it gonna work out? And spoiler alert. At the end of the movie, Patricia Clarkson just shows up on a monitor and explains everything. Yeah. And I was like, come on. You can't have it pay off like that. Like, they had all these clues set up, and it was like, oh, wow, is this going to tie together in some unique, intricate way? And no, she just shows up on a monitor and explains everything.
I thought that was interesting, though. I mean, I actually like that part. What I didn't like, I mean, I liked that part. I liked the way it unfolded, the way it explained itself. Pretty much the performances were great. I liked the performances a lot. I liked the way the actors performed, their emotional range and all that stuff. The ending, though, is what I didn't like. It's just the beginning of another movie.
Yeah,
and of course it is in the beginning of another book.
And that's a complaint that I've heard from a lot of people. Yeah. And being that it is supposed to be leading to another story, and if I don't know if the book ended like that. Have you finished the whole thing?
No, I haven't finished the book
Okay, because I don't know.
Because I'm reading it to my kids.
Yeah, so
I can only read like one chapter a night.
I don't know if it ends that way in the book, and if it does, then there's no real way to work around that, I don't think.
I'll find out, though. I'll let you know.
I thought that the end was rushed a bit.
Yeah.
It was clumsily put together, the third act.
I think so.
It was clumsily put together, but executed in a way where there was still some gravity to the situation, where Chuck had that when Chuck had his moment at the end of the movie, that was kind of sad. And
that was sad.
Yeah,
but I like that. You know, it gave a lot of meaning to the story.
They could have,
and their relationship that they built during the story.
Like I heard going into this movie that they were going to lead it into a sequel, and because I have such diminished expectations for this genre, I was fully expecting them to just cut it off and just like have a really nihilistic ending. But no, they rounded it out nice enough.
Yeah, I liked it. I mean, it's a fun movie.
It is fun, and they put a lot of work into the look of this movie.
Yeah, the set was amazing.
No, it really was.
And the production value, the props, the grievers, those machines. That was
I liked
cool.
the design of the grievers a lot. When I saw the trailer, I was like, "Oh, they're just gonna be robots. That's stupid." Yeah. But no, they're like synthetic mixed with organic. They're like really kind of cool looking and really creepy looking, and I like those a lot.
Yeah. And the set was amazing, especially when you get that. I mean, I wonder if I'm sure they used computer graphics to build that whole set.
Did, yeah.
But the set that they used, I enjoyed it. I mean, I enjoyed the elevator coming up.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I pictured in the book when I was reading the book.
Yeah, no, I mean, I haven't read the book, but it's pretty clear that, you know, like The Giver, it's well directed. Yeah. You know, and if I can say something about this genre, it's that the filmmakers in charge sort of have an agenda to portray the world of the book. and I can't fault any of these movies for that. But unlike the rest of these movies, The Maze Runner actually tells its story very well.
Yeah.
And it's
So what would you recommend it? What would you give it?
I
mean, if we were doing like a 1 out of a 10 scale,
I'm giving
and I think taking the movie viewer into mind, what would you give it?
It's not. I mean, I wouldn't rush out and see it again. And it is flawed, but I appreciate its differences. I appreciate that it separated itself from the rest of the genre. I'm going to give it a 6.5.
6.5?
I'm going to give it a 6.5.
Okay.
I think that it's a good movie.
Yeah.
And if you're a fan of the book, definitely go see it.
Yeah.
Because you're going to enjoy it if you're a fan of the book.
Yeah. Yeah, I think this is like a must-see film. I mean, and a must-see film in the theater, especially if you have kids. I mean, it's a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, but I know it's violent though, which is something that I really liked. It's a bit more violent.
Really?
Yeah, like I mean, there's no blood.
Yeah.
But like when somebody gets completely thrashed by a griever, they show it.
Well, they grab them, they claw them, and they take them
Yeah,
away.
but it's like disturbing in a way because it's this
Yeah.
massive insectoid cyborg thing that's
yeah.
completely demolishing somebody.
So maybe young
and they
kids
don't
might
like
have-
cut away.
Yeah.
They show this thing jumping
Yeah.
on somebody and just thrashing them.
Yeah, maybe young kids would have nightmares. Huh?
Yeah,
Little kids.
if I was young, I would probably have problems with
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
What would you give it?
Oh, I think like an 8, 8.5.
8, okay.
I liked it a lot. I mean, it's entertaining and it's fun, and especially I read the book, and I'm the kind of guy that I love to read a book and then go watch the movie.
Yeah.
And then I love to see the difference.
See, I almost never do that.
I love doing it. I mean, sometimes I'm disappointed.
Yeah.
With this film, I was not disappointed.
Yeah.
And I know that there are some scenes out of sequence, but I could tell while I was watching it that they did those in order to push the story forward in the short time. I mean, it was 1 hour and 53 minutes.
Yeah.
So that's not a lot of time to do a 400-page book.
Yeah.
So,
no,
but I enjoyed it.
No, I think this
Yeah.
movie, I think it worked. And I would recommend it over The Hunger Games or The Giver or The Host or any of the other.
I would recommend it over Guardians of the Galaxy.
Okay, well, anyway, thank you for watching HCC Movie Makers Academy movie reviews.
Yeah, we're brought to you by Houston Community College television station and, of course, the Houston Community College filmmaking program. We love movies. If you love movies, please visit the filmmaking program and take a class. Call Erik Nitzberg and enjoy the art of filmmaking.
Please subscribe to us on YouTube, and if you want to see the full review, there will be a full review coming out within the week. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Oh, don't cut yet.